Hello everyone, welcome to another build video for Path of Exile 2.0.3 and this time we are doing a Titan Ember Fussilade build. First off, big shout out to Shadow Exile and his build Rambo Wizard, sorry. I'll leave a link down below in the description. I think you all know which build I'm talking about. It was showcased by GGG themselves. I think it was submitted by one of their developers, and I really I created the Titan as a Thorns build, and I brought it up to like level 90. And after that, got really tired of the playstyle, right? So when I saw that build, I was like, oh my god, Titan is so good as a spellcaster. Let me just try this, and I tried to farm and make the like the Ravenous Staff, or however it's called, the Abyssal Staff that you need for the build, right? Almost got it a few times, but like failed. 3 times I almost had the perfect staff, right? Just failed a single modifier, and then I was just like, after, I don't know, farming it for 2 days, I was just, yeah, whatever, not gonna do that. But maybe we can make something work with the Ember Fusillade and make like a variation of the shotgun, machine gun Ember Fusillade build of Blood Mage, right? Because obviously the entire reduced duration of skill effects, so skill effect duration reduced with Titan works extremely well with their hulking form, because you can reduce the duration by even more, and then you can literally, like as you see here, just hold down the button and cast, and all of the Ember Fusillades are just literally actually gonna get cast and project like immediately, right? And even when you're walking, this is one of those builds where I usually don't even bother taking reduced movements penalty from using skills, because while you are walking you can just kind of click it even faster, right, as you see here, and you'll still keep walking. You will not use you will not lose a lot of movement speed, right? So this is not a build where I would like invest a ton into taking reduced movement speed penalty, so I could just hold the button down, because we are basically just holding the button down. And then when you get to a boss, right, unless you have to dodge, you can just hold the button down and shoot a gazillion projectiles at them. This build also has all 3 infusions going, so we are constantly using 3 different spells that use all of the infusions. So maybe we should just get into how the whole thing works. So I'll just start off by explaining the Ember Fusillade first. So there's nothing special here as far as, I mean, if any of you have seen any of the Blood Mage builds, right, then you probably already know how this works. So you just need Atalui's Bloodletting. I did say we want to use all of the infusions, so I'm going to be converting all of that lovely physical damage and any damage that we get from our wand as well into cold damage, so that we are constantly freezing everything. So we are mostly doing just cold damage with all of our spells basically, but yeah, you really need Ember in order to make this build work in this way. Compressed duration and Swift Affliction 3 just to get that reduced duration of the projectiles, so that they are constantly firing out. If you are not using Swift Affliction 3, you will already see that they kind of start accumulating while you are mapping. So right, as you see, like, they are not constantly firing out, and sooner or later you will have like a full stack of them around you, which, you know, I just wanted to make I tried without, but I wanted to make it in the same way as the Rambo Wizard was, where you like literally are constantly just firing projectiles and not having to wait. And apparently it works really similar to the his Scattering Calamity, so yeah, we are using both of those to reduce the duration, Ember, and then Rakiata's Flow, just to make the freezing of the enemies that more consistent, you know, and in the end game when you are in delirious maps, this really helps, so yeah. The second projectile that we are firing is via Spellslinger, so Frost Arts, at a maximum level obviously, with life tap. Any spell that needs quote-unquote mana has life tap slotted in, except for the Ember Fusillade. Boundless Energy to get more of the projectiles, and Cold Penetration in order to get more out of the damage. And this is what is using up our ice infusions. And then lastly we also have Cast on Elemental Ailment with Comet for our fire infusions, and it is slotted in with life tap so that we can actually cast it. Boundless Energy, Fluke, and cold penetration in order to get more out of the damage against like rare mobs and against the bosses. Siphon Elements is here in order to make sure that we are getting all of the infusions. Please note Remnant Potency 1 is here just to kind of, you know, make the strength requirement for the gem enthusiast work. Remnant Potency does not work with Siphon Elements, or rather, if you take Remnant Potency 2 or 3 with the delayed effect, that actually does delay the effect of your remnants, which you do not want, so just keep that in mind. And here we finally have a chance to showcase how Time of Need bugs out. As you know, we have an insane amount of reduced effect, which means our duration between blessings should be 1.3 seconds, right? As you can see right now, this is not happening. And then when you enter a map, when you do this, there we go. Now we have the actual blessings between every 1.3 seconds. So just make sure, please, when you enter maps, to turn it on and off, because this truly is a build that can benefit from those. Considering we have no elemental resistances, that we are clearing all of the elemental ailments every 1.3 seconds, meaning I literally don't even use a Frost Charm on this build because this is just fast enough. And lastly, why we want this is just because, well, I mean, we aren't taking any critical hits, right, on this build, which gives us a lot of survivability, and this way we are also clearing like a lot of the curses, right? So the slow effects, the less damage effects, the elemental weakness curse doesn't matter for us, but truly an amazing skill this league, and even more so on a Titan build, right? So we done those. Temporal chains just for the bosses. I'm not gonna over explain this. But yeah, when you open Abyssal Pits, do rituals, do bosses, just, you know, life tap, prolonged duration. We're not gonna comment that this is a 1. Okay. Prolonged duration 2, heightened curse, cursed ground, and magnified area. And also, like, basically just as a meme, if I'm being completely honest, please make sure to use this on weapon set 2 together with the curses, because your weapon set 1 has such a strong reduced skill effect duration, right? That if you would cast Flame Wall on weapon set 1, even if you put I don't know how much prolonged duration into it, it would just disappear in like less than 1 second. So maybe just for bosses, I just leave this here so that the projectiles pass through the wall, and then you just get that tiny bit of extra damage against bosses. But if I'm being completely honest, not something I even use. But yeah, we did slot it in with life tap, prolonged duration, zenith to consider casting, and spell cascade in order to get that effect. Orb of Storms and Frostbolt are here just for the dex requirements, so that we get enough of, as you know, right, enough of skills for the gem enthusiast. Yeah, so that's about it as far as the skills are concerned. As far as the passive tree, like, I'm not gonna over explain anything here. If you guys already saw the Rambo Wizard, you know, kudos to him for coming up with the build, and like for everything he did on that build. I will just maybe point out here we are using a Megalomaniac with Near at Hand and Polymathy. I just wanted to get Polymathy. And I found one that had like a really cheap one that had Near at Hand as well, so I could, you know, unallocate 1 point and have 1 extra point here. But otherwise you can get something more useful than this, right? I would say a medium-sized Metamorphosis works really nicely here. Try to get as little -2 chaos resistance as possible, and you don't even care about the elemental resistances because we aren't using them. It works really nicely because we can take Shredding Force, we can take Sanguimantic Rituals, we can take Mind over Meta, and we can take Touch of the Arcane with a single point of critical hit, and also Storm Charged while saving like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points at least. Now, it is true, we did forego taking blood transfer, not that, we did forego taking Sacrificial Blood. Like, you could, for example, just forgo the Megalomaniac with Polymathy and take 1 with Sacrificial Blood or whatever, but for me personally, I just found that we had enough damage even if we didn't take it, right? So I just decided to use the Megalomaniac here to get all of these lovely nodes and save a lot of points in order to use them elsewhere. Yeah, so how we are producing all of the infusions, obviously we are freezing everything and then just converting it into different infusions for us. This is all defensive nodes basically here. anything different. We did take a lot of critical hit chance. We are proccing a lot of different triggered spells. That is why Evocational Practitioner is really useful for us here. Obviously, Ravenous Mind could be kind of cute. Not Ravenous Mind, but you know, the one with the projectile speed. And then here with you can proc more projectiles while you are firing projectiles. But unfortunately, we do have to use the Undying Hate Tech Rod here with Chaos Inoculation, so this becomes kind of useless for us. I did check if there were some other options in the tree where we could use it, and just nothing practical or nothing obvious seemed to pop to me. So yeah, just take as many attributes, critical hit chance, critical damage bonus as you can on the tree. Stats, right? Attributes, you do like attributes. And you should be good. That's it. Just probably you could get a better Prism of Belief than I have if you're a bit richer, so that would, you know, give you a bit more of a damage boost. But other than that, yeah, try to get a nice Heart of the Well Diamond. This is the one I am using. Resonance Keystone from Nothing, right? Obvious. And then we have just a single. For the single, right? For the single jewel that you have, either get recover 2% of maximum life or mana. I don't know, I just kind of use the Mana Flask whenever I get damage and it depletes. So I'm using the one with 2% of maximum life on kill. A bit of increased strength and spell damage. You could have some critical hit chance, critical damage bonus here. But yeah, since we are stacking a lot of strength on this build, we are over 500. I did just take the 2% increased strength as well. Quickly for the items, why I wanted to do this showcase, because, you know, this is basically the same build, except we are using Snake Speed, but this is basically the same build as Rambo Wizard. However, here you do get a bit more out of the damage, I believe, because we are using Veil of the Night with Wrath Spit. And then lastly, I wanted to make this showcase just because of the Brass Dome. Shadow Edwin, he actually recommended that you use a rare chest with also a lot of, you know, the elemental damage, or armor applies to elemental damage. However, for me, I realized that the Brass Dome, which I was already using on my Thorns build, is a really good substitute, right? You don't care about the drawback, you can actually have -10 to all maximum elemental resistances on it if you want. What you want is just as much armor as possible and as many sockets as possible to get increased maximum life. But the other side, like, take no extra damage from critical hits, considering that we're not stacking our life that high, right? I find this really nice. I find this to be a really nice option. Obviously, if you can get better gloves, better boots than I am using, with increased effect of socketed items, maybe more sockets, maybe you actually get a double socketed Veil of the Night, right, an exceptional one with increased maximum life, go for it. Please keep in mind I am using this Veil of the Night for another build. That is why it currently has 8% increased area of effect slotted in. It should be socketed with convert armor into cold damage as well, or, you know, armor applies to cold damage as well. But other than that, yeah, that is the build. I will point out here that the Stone Charm for Utopia actually synergizes really well with the build for those rare occasions when you do get stunned, and also one of the cheapest Rite of Passage charms with Spirit of the Ox is a really nice option for this build, because we do get increased armor, elemental ailment threshold, reduced damage taken. Like, if you have builds where you cannot afford a good Rite of Passage for the build, this is really one where it's kind of easy to get. Lastly, to point out, the dueling wand that you want to use should have increased spell damage or cold damage. Both are fine, but do not take +5 level of all fire skills or ice skills or anything. Go with +4 level of all spell skills, or +5 if you can afford. But yeah, +4 level of all spell skills, because one of our main spell skill is fire, and then the rest is cold. So you will have most out of your damage that way. Other than that, yeah, that's the build. I hope you guys liked it, hope you guys enjoyed it, hope you guys will let me know what you think about it. If you let me, if you want to try something like this for the start of the next league, also let me know. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens with the whole tech rod. Interaction, we'll see how much GGG is gonna nerf it. I kind of hope. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they nerf it, but, you know, just kind of, can you also still keep it useful, please, so that we do have a nice option for life recovery for the next meta. But yeah, otherwise, let me know what you think. If you liked the build, like and subscribe, comment, all that, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.